Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shojo's Bizarre Adventure. It is I, your host, Stella Luna.
And Laura and Yusuf. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. And today we have a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, guest?
Sure. Hi. Hello. My name is Circus. I am a Vocaloid producer and a vtuber, and I do Vocaloid stuff.
Yeah! Vocaloid stuff. That's what we love. I love that. Yeah. I love that. I've been my hyperfixation since 2008.
Oh yeah, same.
Oh my god, that feels like forever ago.
It was forever ago. It's now like 15 years ago.
Yeah, Miku's 16 years old now. Like,
I know.
Actually.
Actually.
18.
Oh,
wait,
19. Mako's 19.
Oh my god, yeah, yes.
Oh yeah, she just had her 19th anniversary.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's so funny too because I literally joke about how I've been a Vocaloid fan. Like I was probably sitting in my room listening and bawling my eyes out to Rolling Girl as some like Vocaloid fans were being conceived.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't like to think about it, but you're right. Yeah. It's
just I don't know why I thought of that, but I'm just like that is really weird to me that there are fans who are like were born when I was like it was like I was just getting into it, you know.
Yeah.
It's always crazy. But would you like to talk about, you know, a little bit about yourself, you know?
Oh yeah, about like what I've done, I suppose.
Yeah, just kind of or do we want to start with the questions?
I guess I could preface about like what kind of Vocaloid stuff I do.
Yeah.
I've been writing original Vocaloid songs since I was like 13 years old in 2010. Most of them are in English. The biggest ones I've written are Insanity and Circus Monster and Copycat. I think those are my big three ones.
Yes.
I've won the Miku Expo Song Contest in 2015 with my song 10,000 Stars, which was performed in Miku Expo.
That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that was such a wild moment for me. I cried multiple times. I tell the story about how I went to see that Miku Expo and I cried in the CEO of Krypton's arms when it was performed live.
Really?
Oh god.
No, wait, so you met like the CEO of Krypton? Oh my god, that's crazy.
And the Miku Expo team, and they're so nice. And I think a lot of them are still the Miku Expo team to this day. And they were, but I remember I was so calm, cool, and collected for the entire concert, you know? And then my song started playing, and I was like, don't cry.
Dude, that's the perfect time to cry.
Yeah, no,
that's such a big accomplishment.
Yeah. And then I started crying in front of Mr. Ito. And then after my song, they played Just Be Friends, so I started to cry more.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Just Be Friends. Just Be Friends makes me like cry every time.
But I suppose what I've done recently is I have some songs in Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage. My songs Copycat and Goodbye. And it's funny, in a kind of full circle moment for Miku Expo 2024, I'm helping writing the theme song with Yunosuke.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're getting lore.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry again every single time.
Are you gonna be at Miku Expo this year? I guess because if you're helping writing, you're probably going, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to go to. I got my tickets for one show because they were going to places that they haven't gone before, and I was like, well, I gotta go, you know.
Yeah.
And then I did kind of ask. I was like, hey, can I get like tickets to other places? Because I wanted to visit friends in other places, and they were immediately sold out.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
It was horrible.
About it. Yeah.
Oh my god. I feel bad because like I know it's not the fault of Miku Expo. It's Crunchyroll was like really bad about things. Because like I struggled to get tickets because they never sent me the goddamn email.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
it was a whole thing. Yeah.
It was really bad. Luckily, I did have another friend who I'm going with buy the ticket for me because they got the email. But like, oh, that was a catastrophe.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
I'm
got
not
our
sure
tickets.
which ones I can go to.
That's good though. That's good. I'm glad that they could help you out there. But
Yeah.
yeah. What's the first question?
First question. Well, oh my god, there's too many. We
Oh, wow.
had teased this interview, so a portion of my audience was just very excited. I'm sure some of them are in chat right now on YouTube. So I guess the first one would be, how did you get into Vocaloid?
Let's see. I first started. How do I get from the start of this? So I got into anime in around like 2006, and like any sane Western kid getting into anime, I got into a series that I really should not have. I started with Chobits.
Oh,
I love
no.
but yeah, as a kid, no.
Yeah, I was 11 reading that manga in school.
Oh, was it in the school library?
Class. Yeah, I brought it to class.
Oh my god.
I mean, so many things went over my head as like a teen reading that, but yeah. I still love it, but
And then
Oh,
I
Shojo.
followed the trajectory of, Lucky Star and the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. And then I looked up videos about that stuff. I looked up the Hare Hare Yukai, and I saw this one video from 2008 that was a Nico video repost of a proof of concept for this program called Miku Miku Dance. It was before it came out, but it was Miku dancing to the Hare Hare Yukai. And she was singing it too. And I was like, who is this and why does she sound so bad?
Honestly, some of the early Vocaloid stuff was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I kind of put that aside for a few months. I was like, okay, I know about this, twin-tailed blue, teal, whatever character. And then I was on DeviantArt, tracing the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya stills and passing them off as my own art.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend who was like, hey, I'm doing this Vocaloid RP. Do you want to join?
Oh no.
And I was like, you know what? Sure. Why not? I'll be this yellow dude, the banana boy. Len? Yeah,
Len!
sure.
I feel like I could have definitely guessed that for some reason. I was like, well, there's only, at the time, there's like basically only two male Vocaloids, which was Len or Kaito. You got to be one of them.
Yeah. And I was like 13 at the time. So obviously I was going to be the one that was closer to my age. So
Yeah.
I remember RPing as Len. And then I had a lot of my, middle school antics on DeviantArt. And then I saw a bunch of other people who joined the RP group, or at least were talking about their friends outside of the RP group who actually did like Vocaloid covers and original songs. And I got inspired to start my own. So that's kind of all because of DeviantArt RP is how I became a Vocaloid producer.
Well, that's so 2000 and like late 2000s. Like it's insane how late 2000s that is. Because like I had a DeviantArt account, and I definitely had art that I traced on there as well too. I mean. We were like children, and back then, like now I feel like with artists, like it's a very much a conversation of like, don't trace, like don't do that, like that's bad, don't pass it off as your own, but back then it was like, it's the Wild West, like nobody knew anything,
Absolutely. And with all the bases too, it was its own kind of like community. You could just steal poses and everyone was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You wanna take a still and you wanna trace over it and you wanna be like, yeah, look at what I did and like look how cool or like look, it's this character in this universe and I totally did not trace that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was a completely different space back then.
Oh no, it definitely was. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people who got into Vocaloid, especially during that time, it all kind of happened very similarly. Cause like like for me, I got into anime as well in like 2005, 2006. Like I had rewatched the entirety of Sailor Moon, all 200 episodes on YouTube in 3 parts. Sometimes each part, like a part would be missing or it would be in Spanish, and I'm like, I can't read Spanish, but like it spiraled from there because it was like, oh, Sailor Moon's not a cartoon, it's anime. What's anime? You know? And then I started watching things like Tokyo Mew Mew and Cardcaptor Sakura, and then eventually I came across like this video, and it's very specific, and it's like it was like Rin and Len, and it was to the Even Polka, right? It was very, very classic song, and it was just like these gifs of them. And I just remember seeing that and going, what anime is this?
Yeah, the age-old question.
No, like, what anime is this? And I tried to look it up, and I found like Vocaloid, and I was like, Vocaloid anime, and I couldn't find anything. So I was like, what is this? And so like eventually I was like, oh, it's music. Oh, that makes so much more sense, because like back then, you know, like I feel like a lot of people have come across Vocaloid and went, what anime is this? Like what anime, you know? Because I mean, it's in the anime art style. Like I don't blame people for being like, what anime is this? Because like I know we all like to be like, oh, that's so cringe to say, but it's like, how are you supposed to know any other way? You know, you just see a character and you're like, where are you from?
Yeah,
you know,
when the only frame of reference is other animes, it's kind of like, oh, I see the style. Yeah,
it's anime.
probably a show.
Yeah, it's probably an anime. I mean, it has GIFs and stuff and a bunch of like fan art. So like, where's the original? And it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's a music software. What is our what? Go ahead.
Next one.
Yeah.
Let me see where I can go from that one. Oh, from there, what inspired you to make music once you discovered what Vocaloid was?
Oh, let's see. To be honest, when I first started, I just made covers with characters, and I had some like fanloids, you know, where you take a Vocaloid character and you just recolor it, basically.
Yes.
And then I made some like covers with other like Rin singing "World Is Mine" and stuff like that, you know, being like, what would they sound if they did this? And then I saw an Utao user, Jessie-chan, who has the Utao Camila Melodia, and she was making original songs in Spanish with her Utao, and I was just like, we're allowed to do that? You know?
Oh my god, yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, wait, we can do that? We can make original songs? I want to try that. And then I wrote a song about toast and how it was creepy.
I remember that.
Like, yeah, it was 2010's RAR XD squirrel, so random humor.
Yeah. I thought it was so hilarious back then, because like we talked about this right before, but I've been following Circus here since Creepy Toast days, like, which is crazy.
Yeah. 13 years.
13 years, I know, that's crazy. I was like, oh man, I feel old now. Like
yeah.
Do you like, so when you were like trying to get, you know, you were making your own music, did you like play any instruments, or did you just like hop into it? Like knowledge.
I had no prior experience. I jumped right into using FL Studio with, let's see, I took a class in middle school to learn how to play the recorder. That was it.
Really?
That's all I had.
Oh my god.
I don't know how to play any. I don't know how to play recorder. Honestly, they didn't teach me very well. I really had no musical knowledge, and it was really funny because my family isn't musical either. I remember when I started this, my mom and my grandparents, they were like, "This is so weird because none of us can sing or play an instrument. None of us are musical, but you're writing music."
That is insane.
You got inspired.
That's why, yeah.
A legacy's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vocaloid was the reason that someone who had no prior experience could be motivated to try music.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a few other producers who are like that too. So I think it's kind of a magical thing, you know? Like without Vocaloid, there would be some people who would have never tried music. And you know, there's a lot of great musicians now because Vocaloid was available and an option for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool, because like I like Vocaloid opens up so much for
Mm-hmm.
people and to like try out, because like I know I definitely have contemplated like messing around with Vocaloid. I've been trying to make my own Utaloid, but like I've been struggling. Like I did the whole thing and then it sounded like ass when I put it in, and I was like I was like
Sometimes they do.
well, it was like I had weird like in like front of it, and I don't know what's wrong with it. But but the parts that sounded good, I sound like Mako.
Oh yeah.
I like put it in. I was like, this is just Mako. Like, what's the point if I'm gonna sound like an official Vocaloid anyways? Like, there's no point. But no, like it like it's amazing how not only just Vocaloid, like you could pick up a program and start making music, but then also we have Utaloids. So if you want to make your own Vocaloid, you have access to doing that, because at the end of the day, it's just taking your own voice and just pitching it up and down.
Yeah.
So
It's super neat. It's super cool. Oh yeah, I have a Uto.
you do?
You do? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I made one in 2000. It was one of the first things I did. I guess 2009.
Yeah.
His name was he has a different name now, but his first name was Aido. His last name was Feirune, which was meant to be said like fail ne, like, you know, fail sound, like LOL, he's such a fail XD, you know, that 2009 humor.
Yeah. So random
That epic
XD.
fail, you know.
Literally, my whole backlog of like favorited Vocaloid videos is like from that time, because I
Yeah.
like I still look at it and be like why, like Dancing Samurai, like the one music video where it's just like so incredibly random. I'm like, this was like all of my humor comes from Vocaloid, to be fair.
yeah, shaped who we are, to be honest.
Yeah, it definitely shaped who I am. Who's your favorite favorite producer, or some favorites?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a lot. Let's see. My first favorite, well, I really like Dixie Flatline for Just Be Friends, and Sugar Vine is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose my like deep cut that was a big inspiration for years is Hana Somenpi or HSP, who did like Unfragment and those trance Vocaloid songs, you know, the ones that are like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really love that because I love trance and EDM and stuff.
Mhm.
And also, it feels kind of mainstream to say, but I really do love Deco Nina's stuff. You know?
Yeah. I don't worry, I do too. Like here's the thing, is like, yeah, they're mainstream, but like who cares? Like who cares?
Yeah.
You know? You don't have to be the hippie of Vocaloid, you know? Like not hippie, sorry, a hipster.
The hipster, yeah.
Hipster. Wrong terminology. I hit the hipster of Vocaloid. You don't have to be. It's okay. Like it's okay to like mainstream stuff. Like, you know, if you like Giga P, you like Deco Nina, which we didn't know it was Deco Nina for a really long time. We thought it was Deco 27.
Yes.
Oh, and I guess my hipster picks are artists like Iruka Ice, who in Colorful Stage did Brand New Day, and Ichinose Lupo, who did I think it was the first song contest winner also in Colorful Stage. It was the Ren song. I'm blanking on the name right now. But that whole group, they have their own, I think it's on Prism Records. They do such fun, like just upbeat, happy, hardcore EDM stuff, and I love their stuff. So I've been listening to them a lot lately, and they've become some of my favorites. But so a wide range of oldies and new ones. I think it's good to have faves of all times.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Who is like your biggest like inspiration though for producers?
Well, going back to HSP, because he drew all of his PVs, and I was like, you draw and produce and do all this stuff? What? You know?
God, I did that with Rolling Girl, and I redrew the entire PV. I animated it myself. And let me tell you, the amount of work that went into it, I was like, damn, like some of these people write the songs and then they produce them and then they make the PVs, and I'm like, this is so much work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. But I was still so impressed by it, you know.
Mhm.
I would say the earliest Vocaloid producers that I was really inspired by though are kind of like the OG ones, like KZ, which I found out it's pronounced KZ, and I'm never gonna get over that. I've been calling him KZ Live Tune my entire life.
Oh
It's
no.
KZ.
No. I mean that makes sense because like
Yeah, it makes sense.
Z is Z in other countries. It's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
Canada
Yeah.
and in the UK. I found that out pretty recently, but you know, it's Z in my heart.
Yeah. KZ just sounds good. It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, KZ, yeah.
And Supercell as well.
Super
But
Stella.
I remember it's kind of funny to chat about influences with Vocaloid because a lot of people I talk to now, I'm very flattered when they say this, but they're like, "Oh, you were a big influence for me," you know. And I
Yeah.
think back and I was like, "What Western Vocaloid producer was an influence to me?" And I realized I've been here for so long, there wasn't one.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
wasn't like Western Vocaloid scene to look up to. Though, like there was Jesse Chan who made Utao originals with Camila Melodia, but I even went back to look at those videos now, and the one that sparked me trying to write music has like specifically 345 views total, under 400. It has like not even like 1,000 views, and I'm like, wow, there wasn't people before me.
No. No.
So a lot of my references were also from music were also just like Western pop, you know, like Kesha and Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, you know, all
Yeah.
this types of stuff.
Mhm.
I know one of my favorite songs that you've done was Dream with Luca.
Yeah.
I really love that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That one was fun.
It was just really cute. Like it was, I don't know, like it was more poppy than like some of your other stuff, and I don't know, like I really liked it, and obviously like the space motifs. I'm just like, yes, this is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so happy with Dream because because I like happy songs. I like idols. I like
Mhm.
a lot of idol franchises. I was into Idol Master before Vocaloid. I was like looking up the original Idol Master, I think Live for You. So it wasn't the first one, but you know, them dancing to like upbeat idol songs.
Mhm.
Around the same time I discovered Miku. And then Perfume as well. You know, a lot of upbeat groups. So I've always wanted to try and write happy stuff because I love idol music, but I never could get it down.
Yeah.
But Dream was the first time that I was like, oh, it doesn't sound bad to me. I wrote it's not a happy song lyrically, but
No.
it's a major key. And I was like, oh, I wrote a major key.
No,
So I was like, I'll take my wins where I can get them.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I love that song. That was I'm like, I still listen to it like just to this day. It's like in my Vocaloid like playlist, you know. So I just like I love that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm curious, how long does it take to make like a cover or an original song? I mean, I guess it would vary on the song, but like.
Hmm. Let's see. For the longest time, I suppose I'll start with covers because I can do a cover in like a day.
Okay.
I can find the melody, find the harmonies, tune the entire thing. I think in total, I've done it in just like a stream before, so like 3 to 5 hours, at most. If it's a shorter or easier song that repeats a lot, you know, maybe like 1 to 2 hours. As far as an original song, for like 3 to 4 years, I was writing a new original song on my Patreon for like once a month. I had a whole new one every
Wow.
single month. And I would say about a week of that month was probably dedicated to songwriting, but I can make a song demo in a day.
Okay.
So, but I've stopped that because that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a lot. Like
Yeah.
once a month, it's just like you have to like think about the melody, like what you're writing about. And I feel like writing about so many topics, right, like can get really hard after a while.
Yeah, you kind of start to that's when I really started to experiment because I was like, well, I know my genres that I like to write, but I just wrote like a song that sounds like another song last month. So this month, what if I try rock? You know, what if I try R&B? What if I try, you know, a bunch of different genres? And I was a lot more experimental because of that. So some positive came from it, but I did. I don't want to say I got burnt out, but I do feel comfortable saying, like the phrase, like I did this on Patreon because now you can't support me on Patreon because I have stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped that. There's nothing to plug there anymore because I realized gotta slow down.
And
That's understandable.
now you're taking up VTubing,
Yeah. I've slowed down in one way and I've sped up in another.
Yeah. What got you into VTubers? Kind of going to maybe a little off some Vocaloid stuff for a little bit.
Well, I mean, it was kind of Vocaloid. So I remember when Kizuna Ai, her channel first started. So this is way back in the day. She had under 2 videos. And I remember having my Vocaloid friends being like, hey, we don't know what this character is, but she might be another Miku. Do you want to check her out? She's like a virtual YouTuber. Miku's a virtual singer. That's kind of overlapping, check out Kizuna Ai. And I was like, okay, she's cute. So I subscribed to her. And then a month or 2 passed where I got like busy, and then I came back and she had a bunch of videos and they were translated because at the time YouTube allowed for community contributed subtitles, which they stopped, which is a sad day. But,
Yeah, no, it's such a sad day.
But I really got into the concept of kind of having a virtual persona while doing kind of like gaming and also streaming and just any type of content creation because I had been live streaming already for like years, but I never showed my face, I was I never had a webcam or anything. I didn't really feel comfortable showing my face online, knowing that I had a kind of presence as a musician. I like to kind of keep my real self separate. And it was kind of fun to see Kizuna Ai and be like, oh, so there's like a way to have this kind of character and do stuff. And with the rise of Niji Sanji and Hololive and stuff, especially with the 2020 boom, I was like, okay, I'll try this like 2D VTuber thing. It's not exactly what I pictured, but it looks okay. And then it just kept getting better and better. And now I kind of like 2D VTubers a little bit more.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
I say is, we're like 2D VTubers right now. A little biased, but
I mean, like a 3D. See, here's the thing though. 3D, you can do so much. Like you could do a virtual concert with a 3D model.
True.
You can't really do that with a 2D model. I mean, you can, but it's not the same.
You're right.
It's not the
exactly
same.
True.
But virtual concerts are like on the rage right now. I've seen a few people doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and like, who are some of your favorite VTubers besides Kizuna Ai?
Yeah, I guess some more modern and still active VTubers are let's see. I really like. I think I'll pick one from Hololive and one from Niji Sanji. Because I watch both of them. But from Hololive, I really like Ina. I think it's Nina Mai Inanis because she was the first VTuber I saw that kind of like she posted like speed paint videos and artsy stuff. And she'd be like, let's draw. And I know that a lot of other VTubers do that, but it was the first time I saw it. And I was like, whoa, I would follow this person just for their art.
Yeah, she has amazing art.
Yeah. And she had like tips on one of her speed paints. She was like, oh, for this one, you can find this type of stuff on like the Blender store. You can like go here and use this for reference. This is good, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm learning stuff and I want to draw now. So I really, I like Ina. She's fun. She's also fun outside of her craft, but that was what drew me, the art stuff. And then from Niji Sanji, I had the kind of like idol fan moment, I suppose, because Palmu Rainpuff did a stream where she sang God Knows 100 times. And I was like, whoa, that's stamina. And then at the very end, she was like, one more time. And I was like, one more time.
I love
from the other side
Palmu.
of the screen. Yeah. I was like, that picture of the guy, the one that every idol fan uses, the guy, I think it's from Wake Up Girls, with the guy with the tears down his face and he has like the idol headband and the glow sticks and he's like, yeah. That's how I felt. So I guess Ina and Palmu, those are my favorites.
Do you like any indie VTubers?
Oh, oh yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot. There's too many to keep up with sometimes.
Let's see. I am a little biased because I do like Mika Magica. And I also, well, hold on. I also like your stuff.
What?
It's fun because I've seen you around and I was like, oh, that design's so cool. The space Gyaru. What?
Don't flatter me.
Stella's gonna fangirl.
I'm gonna be like, it's like we're like the Spider-Man meme right now. It's just like, I like your stuff, and I like your stuff.
Oh, there's so many indies though, but let's see. I do at the moment focus on corporate VTubers, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I need to learn more about like the indie VTubing scene. You know, like when you're first starting VTubing, you kind of look at the corporate VTubers to be like, oh, they set the standard, you know, and I want to learn how to VTube, so I want to learn how to like what the standard should be. And I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I think I've got my footing a little bit. I'm going to start looking outside of that. So I'm just now starting to kind of look outside of the big corporate VTubers to find more indies.
Well, what I love about the corporate VTubers is that I like the professionalism that comes from them. I admire that a lot, actually. Because like I've been in the indie scene now for I started VTubing in like beginning of 2021, right?
Whoa.
It's almost been 3 years. I started working on my VTuber stuff in 2020, but it wasn't until 2021 where I was like, I am now here. But as I've like been here, right, it's unfortunate because like I've met some really amazing people in this space, right? I've met some amazing people. I've met some people who've gone on to being like these, you know, like the bigger VTubers, right? And like the unfortunate part with like being an indie is that like there is a lot of drama and like while yes like every community does have it, right? And I do see people going like oh, it's so full of drama, and I'm like, I feel like that's just kind of the natural way of things especially when it comes to entertainment, right? I've been a voice actress and an actress for a very long time, you know, and I just, even being in school and being in a theater, you know, class and production, right? Like everyone was fighting for the main roles. Everybody like you would like, you know, suck up to the teachers, you know, for the role. And favoritism happens and stuff like that, you know? And it's an unfortunate part about it. But the thing I like about the corporate side is that once you're in, like you can't fight. You're not allowed to fight, right? If you fight, management's going to get involved and they're going to be like, you need to stop this, right? Which is something I admire a lot about a lot of the corporate VTubers, is because they have this professionalism and have these things expected of them. And you know, like I want to emulate that professionalism, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like if we all emulated that professionalism, I think a lot of people would see a lot of progress in their own stuff, because just like slight, like just personal opinion, I guess, like I find like seeing all the drama constantly, like I couldn't imagine, as someone who likes VTubers and views VTubers as not a VTuber, they probably don't like seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like they just don't care. Like they're like, I just want to be here for my Oshi, for my VTuber, you know? And it's part of the like, and also like some of the stuff that like some of the bigger VTubers, like Niji Sanji's been like on fire lately. Like they've been releasing things left and right. I don't know if you saw the Vox Akuma like short film he released.
I did, because an acquaintance of mine helped with the music.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Biggest
that's
friend
really
of mine,
cool.
I think I can say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
So I was like, whoa, you worked on the Vox Akuma movie. And then I took a step back and I was like, there's a Vox Akuma movie, you know, like realizing what I just said.
I'm like, that's crazy. Like he put in so much work into that, and it was really good. It was really good.
I really
you know?
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was more, you know, like that's the thing is like I like seeing these like corporate VTubers trying to step out of the box rather than just playing games. Like they're trying to create content, right? Some of them are trying to create music, like Ren Zoto, like, you know, is a musician.
Such a good singer.
Oh my god, it's so funny. During his debut, you know, when he like played his song, right? And I sat there like Blue Sugar, right? And I sat there and I was like, wow, this sounds like very like Metro Station, like Owl City-esque. And then he went on to being like, yeah, some of my favorite musicians are like Metro Station. And I was like, okay, there it is. Like, there it is.
The influence, easy to spot. Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know you come from the same time as me with that kind of music.
Yeah.
Well, you know, speaking of like big aspirations though, like do you have any big aspirations that you want to do, you know? Like as a VTuber?
Let's see. So I suppose because I've always liked the aspect of, you know, kind of being on a stream and doing like gaming content. But when I really started to take VTuber stuff seriously is when I kind of looked back and I was like, well, other than doing like stuff that I used to watch, like Markiplier, PewDiePie stuff in 2013, you know, like what else do I want to do with this character? Because it opens possibilities. And then I realized, oh, what if I did kind of like a Gorillaz Studio Killers type of thing where I'm like a musician, but like this is me, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, and I kind of create a world and, you know, songs around that world and stuff. And so it's been slow going, but I released my first original song as CircusP instead of CircusP, and it fits the vibe of the character and the world, and I wanted to continue to expand on that and kind of write for a character that I create myself, because Vocaloid is fun.
Yes.
And I love Vocaloid, and I'll always write Vocaloid songs. It's just that at a matter of what pace I write them, you know. But the one big thing with Vocaloid is the artist is often overlooked or kind of hiding behind they're not always hiding behind the character, but they're kind of obscured by it.
Yeah.
I remember that was a big thing with Wawaka, right? People were crediting the songs to Miku and not Wawaka and stuff like that. And for me, I found solace in that. I wrote a lot of vent songs, and I was happy that people didn't know that I was the one who was writing them. I was happy that people were like, wow, Luca's really going through it. And I was like, yep, she sure is. But now that I'm a bit more, you know, older, a bit more stable, I'm like, I want to try and build my own character.
Yeah.
I want to try and build my own universe, one that doesn't rely on a software, one that I'm at the core of it, not a product, you know? And so that's the big thing that I really like VTubing for, which I don't know if it's groundbreaking. I don't know if it's the most ambitious thing, but it's something that gives me enough drive to really want to work on it.
Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. Because like being like behind, like I used to be a cosplayer, right? And like you know, when you cosplay, like you're not quite your own identity, because you're always like associated with like certain characters, like all the time, right? There were certain characters that I was always associated with, and you know, like being a VTuber, like I created my own character, and who either like represents me or a fictional me, right? Or a fictional character that I had created. And, you know, like being able to take that and explore that. Like I'd love to do more lore stuff or more like short comics or something like that, right? And like, you know, going and creating like your character, like you put so much yourself into it, right? And it's really funny too, because like there's just something about like the Vocaloid fan to VTuber pipeline that happens. Like
yeah, it's true.
Because like who was it? I remember I was looking at one of my old YouTube accounts because I was looking for a specific video, and I saw on this old ass like YouTube account back from very early 2010s. I saw on my like subscribed bar, right, a VTuber, and I was like, who is this VTuber? Like who is this? I'm like I didn't follow a VTuber in 2010, that's for sure, right? But it was Pumpkin Potion.
Yeah, I was talking about her recently. Yeah.
And I was like who's Pumpkin Potion? And I sat there and I was like who, huh? and then I thought about it really hard, and I was like, wait a second. Hold on. Is this who I think it is? You know, and it being Rockletus, and I only say that because she has a whole video about that. So
yeah, a whole video about what happened to Rockletus.
Yeah, what happened to Rockletus. So I'm like I'm not trying to like you know, dock someone's past life or whatever, but just like she already has a video on it. But I thought it was crazy because I watched it and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And so like I like Rachi is you know a VTuber now. Like Juby Phonic is a VTuber. You're a VTuber. Like I was a fan of Vocaloids, you know, now I'm a VTuber. Like so many I've actually met more Vocaloid fans being a VTuber than I have my entire life.
Honestly, yeah. It's kind of wild. I guess it's almost kind of freeing too. Because when you're a Vocaloid fan and you're in Vocaloid spaces, you're like, okay, people know I'm a Vocaloid fan. But when you're in a VTuber space, you got to be like, oh, by the way, I like Miku.
Yeah.
Like you got to tell people because they don't immediately assume it.
Yeah, you see these bows in my hair. You see those? Those are Miku colors. They're there for a reason. I chose pigtails because I love Miku.
So true.
What are some other questions we got, Laura?
Oh my god, I've been checking them off as we've gone through. Maybe talking about design. Do you have a favorite Vocaloid design?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Aesthetically, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a hard one to think because I'm definitely a voice first person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Vocaloids that I like for their voice, and I'm a little indifferent on their design, you know. But in terms of design first, oh, I know, Mayu is a big one.
Yeah.
I really love Mayu's design, but she suffers from, and this is such a specific. What is my friend has this phrase for it, like level 5 Vocaloid iceberg knowledge. You know, this is like such a specific thing to say, but Mayu suffers from the Vocaloid 3 girl sound, where she just kind of sounds like Mew and Chica and Iya and like all of them.
Yeah.
Vocaloid 3 was all about quantity, and once you got so many voices of a similar type, they kind of blended together. So unfortunately, Mayu's voice, I like her, but I like her for her design because her voice is, it's not bad, but it doesn't reach out to me like characters like Miki, you know. So Mayu's definitely a design first. Mayu's like in one of my faves solely for design over voice.
I once used Mayu's design for some like D&D type thing, like RP D&D type thing, and like I played her as I mean obviously a yandere, like there's no other way to play her. Oh my god, but it was so much fun to play her, like, you know, like play a yandere, but like that's kind of like what, you know, what she is. And it was just so funny because like using like the Vocaloids is just like, yeah, this is kind of like what she looks like. That's kind of what this character like. I wasn't role playing as Mayu, but it was just like using her as an example because, you know, weeby little self being like, I only know Vocaloid. Here, look at this design.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense though. That makes sense. I feel like a lot of Vocaloids have now, you know, gone past like looking like Miku knockoffs too as well.
Yeah.
Because I know for a little bit everybody was like trying to emulate Miku. You know, with some of like
Miku formula.
The Miku formula, which, God, it's something that always will like that kind of bothers me about like newer fans is they take the like Vocaloid like quote unquote canon very seriously for some reason, right? Being like, well, Miku, like, because they try to cancel like Magnet because Miku is 16 and Luca is 20, you know. And it is part of the reason I don't like the ages on the Vocaloid. While yes, they like the age for Miku was a huge part of the marketing, but that's what it was, marketing. It was at the time idols were taken off, right? Like idols were becoming a very big thing, and so the way they were going to sell Miku after, I think what Kaito was like a colossal failure.
Oh yeah. Commercial flop. Yeah. Sold under 500 units.
Yeah. Poor Kaito, my man.
Oh.
But Miku came into the picture and they had to figure out how to market her, you know?
Yeah.
So adding like she's a 16-year-old virtual idol was all just marketing at the end of the day, you know? And
Yeah.
it worked, but it's also now been hindering, I think, people and their creativity for Vocaloid by being like, how old is this Vocaloid? Because it's about the software. It's not about like the like ages or whatnot. And I've explained this to people before. I think of Miku as basically Japanese Barbie at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Oh yeah, that's so. She can do anything.
She could do anything. Yeah, she made Minecraft. She wrote Harry Potter. Like,
Exactly.
she can do anything.
The way that I view that is kind of similar to, I saw people on Twitter talking about this as well, and I'm glad that there's some people who share the same sentiment. Is something about how the way that we refer to characters as a fandom kind of hinders the Vocaloid fandom, because it's not that Miku is 16.
No.
The language is more so Miku is 16 by default.
Yeah.
You know, Miku has teal hair by default. Miku has twin tails by default. But at the end of the day, your Miku, if you own the software, or even if you're drawing her, cosplaying her, whatever, your Miku can be whatever.
Yeah.
She can be
Yeah.
like older, younger. You could give her red hair, you could give her black hair. I mean, that's how Zatsune Miku came to be. That's how Haku came to be. That's how Neru came to be.
Yep.
Like all these fanloids, it's because someone took Miku and they were like, what if we made her not Miku? What if we changed her up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how all Vocaloids should be seen, I think. Unless they're like, some of them nowadays do have very, very strong characters that I think their companies are trying to push, but Krypton is not one of them.
No.
Krypton has, if anything, I think it's almost hindering their products a little bit by how basic they want the characters to be presented. Because I'm like getting into Colorful Stage and reading the stories, Miku is always the most milquetoast character. She's just like, I'm sorry that's happening to you.
Yeah.
And that's
No
it.
personality.
Yeah.
She's
Which-
got nothing.
Which is why I think kind of like the story can kind of, because like it's a big reason why we don't have a Vocaloid anime, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because we don't want people to be like, oh, this is how she is, like canon wise, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, she's canonly this, she's canonly that. Because in our heads, our head canons of Vocaloids can be vastly different from each other, right?
Mhm,
Because like I think about like Rin being, this like, she's really sweet on the outside. She's like an inverse of a Sour Patch Kid. Sweet on
Oh,
the
yeah.
outside, but like sour on the inside. Like that's her.
Yeah.
Or like Len is just incredibly dumb. Like he has
Yeah.
dumb boy energy, right?
So true.
Along with like, but smarter than Kaito, just slightly,
Oh,
But
yeah.
like,
Mhm,
even
mhm.
though like I think Kaito is like a big dumb boy, I also like want more songs of him having more like sexy songs, like
Mhm.
included, him being like the more presenting adult VTuber, not VTuber, Vocaloid,
Oh, yeah.
Kryptonloid, right?
Yeah.
And we no longer, Yakpo is never going to get another update ever,
Yeah.
But if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Why?
Yeah.
But the ages just don't really matter at the end of the day when it comes to the music, because at the end of the day, it's really the music and the storytelling
Mhm.
about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like we talked about this in another episode, but I made this video where so my head can come off. It was just like my head can come off. For what reason? Why do I have a toggle? I made this toggle specifically because of this meme, but it was the Servant of Evil, like that. But I threw like Len hair on myself, right? And then I just like detached my head.
Mhm.
And because I rigged my own model, so I just made it a toggle because I thought it was funny. But I had people like trying to correct me in the comments, being like, "That's not Len. That's the wrong character. That's Alan. That's Alan. It's not Len." And I'm like, I don't care. like yeah, he has an official name now, but he's like, Len still is the voice bank that is being used,
Yeah.
And also in the early days of Servant of Evil, Daughter of Evil, it was just Ren and Len. There was no Alan
Yeah.
and Rillian. There was none of that. They were just like Len and like you could go to the oldest videos and you go to the comments and go to the oldest comments. They all just say Ren and Len. They don't say Alan. It's like all of those names came in afterwards. But it is like going back to my original point is that I think a lot of younger fans are so like hell bent on canon and things being canon, and they don't allow for creativity. Is like is the one thing that it's kind of sad to see as an older Vocaloid fan. You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like because Vocaloid as a fandom, what makes it so magical and unique is that the characters are so malleable. That's one of its main perks. That's one of the best thing about Vocaloid is that you create the canon. It's one of there's a few other fandoms now that are like that, but there's not a lot that have been going on for this long. The only other ones I can think of, and I suppose this doesn't even quite count, but the big three fandoms on Nico Video in like 2007 were Vocaloid, Toho, and Idolmaster.
Yeah.
And they're kind of different levels of fandom canon. Idolmaster has a lot of canon. It's got a lot of story, you know? So the fans just kind of expand on that, right? Toho, it's got games at the very least. It doesn't have too much in the games, so a lot of it is on the fans, but there's a certain amount of canon to that, to Toho. Vocaloid has nothing.
Yeah.
You make every single canon. Vocaloid has the voices. Vocaloid has the box of Hatsune Miku that you can buy, and that's it. That is the canon. She comes with demo songs, but even those aren't canon. Those are just demos of like, here's how she sounds if you don't know, you know, but every single song is made by a Vocaloid fan, which is something that's a bit odd as a Western Vocaloid producer. This is kind of tangential, but when I first started producing stuff, people were like, oh, I love your Vocaloid fan song. And it's like,
what?
All Vocaloid songs are fan songs.
Yeah.
My Vocaloid songs aren't any less official than like Hachioji's Vocaloid songs, you know?
Yeah. It's just depending on how popular they get.
Yeah, exactly. Even World Is Mine was a Vocaloid fan song, I guess, if you want to look at it like that, you know?
Yeah,
yeah.
There is no canon in Vocaloid. It's a product that you buy and then comes with a design, basically a virtual doll. Like let's be real, it's a virtual doll at the end of the day. Like Miku is a virtual doll. Same with all the other Vocaloids, like every single one of them, right? I mean, there's a big reason that like Kaito and Mako do not have official ages. They don't, and like a lot of people are like, oh well, Kaito is like middle age, and I'm like, well, first of all, I don't think Kaito is middle aged. I was like, what is your definition of middle age? Because that man is like, I would say in his 20s. Like if we're going to be real, like maybe like 25. I don't know. Like same with Mako. Like they're 20s.
Yeah.
I could see them in their 30s too. You know, we're getting up there. You know, but like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. It's also like the intent of like behind it. Like with Magnet, the intent was to write, you know, a song that created gay people, you know, like
exactly.
we all know that gay people didn't exist before Magnet.
It's true. It's really true. It's
a song. It's about like it was so Magnet is such a song that was like so ahead of its time too.
It really was, yeah.
You know, like that was like everyone went there, went and listened, and we're all like, is this what I think it is? Is that what's happening? Or are they just friends, you know?
Yeah. Minato was doing so much.
Yeah.
And it's wild how many of the big songs from the early days by Minato were kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And I guess discovery songs for like budding like little gay kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you have Magnet, but then you also have Spice, and then you also have Rip Release. You've got a whole, there's like, that's the triple whammy right there.
Oh God, I was obsessed with Spice. That was like, 13-year-old me was just like, I love Len so much. Like Len was my boy. I was like, I love him, and I want to marry him one day. And now I'm this adult, and every time I see him, I'm like, oh, little baby. Little baby now.
Yeah.
And I was like, but move out of the way, Len. Kaito's right there.
Yeah, Kaito.
That's my man. that your man? That's my man. Well, cause like I saw another video too on TikTok, and it was somebody had drawn fan art. It was like a little fan animation fan art thing, and it was like Miku confessing to Kaito. People lost their shit. They lost their shit. They were like, you know that Kaito is like really old and Miku's like 16, and like they got really mad over it. And I was like, they felt so bad too. Like this person was like, oh, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Like I just like these characters and I didn't know, and like basically trying to avoid being like canceled by like.
Well, the same thing happened to Naoto Fuga as well, who had
Yeah.
retweeted like Miku and Kaito fan art.
Man.
I mean,
I love him.
I mean, I love him to pieces, and he's so supportive of like, you know, like young Vocaloid producers, people that just do like artists, fan art, and all that stuff. And I love that he's very active, but at the same time, I feel like some of the fandom just gets a little too comfortable with that fact.
Yeah.
And kind of forget the fact that English is not his first language. So I feel like he's been kind of like set into like these gotcha moments, like, look at you messed up. But it's like, that's a okay, middle age. He's middle aged. Like, respect the man, please.
Yeah, respect him. Like, leave him be. Let him live, and let him love his son. Okay.
Exactly. He's Kaito's #1 fan. He's always taking his son out on recording sessions. I love his little like. I feel like his Twitter's like his diary.
Yeah. It's like, these are my daughters and my son.
He's so cool. I love his Kaito shrine. He's probably the biggest one I've seen.
Have you? I'm curious. Have you met any of the voice providers?
Let's see. I haven't personally met Yua Sakawa, but she did like sign a little clear file for me. She's saying,
yeah, go ahead.
She sang "Lie" at a concert once. I think it was at a convention. But she was like, "I want to sing your song," and I was like, "Oh my god."
You're like, oh my god. I did actually meet her at a convention. She signed. I have a Luca figure signed by her.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't take a picture though, unfortunately, because I don't know why I didn't like take it. I think my phone was dead at the time, and I was like, oh man, I really wish. And I told her that like Luca was like my favorite Vocaloid. And she was like, oh my god, and she was like, one day Luca will be bigger than Miku. Just believe. And I was like, that's so. It was so funny, but she was so cute, and I was just like very happy to meet at least one voice provider in my life.
Yeah, oh, she's so fun, especially on Twitter too.
Yeah,
I do feel like she was also kind of put in a gotcha moment though, because people assume that she hates Luca or that she hates voicing Luca, and it's like, no, she's just so funny about it.
Yeah,
you know, she's like, oh yeah, if you love Luca, make her more popular than Miku. I want the money in like a funny way, you know?
Well, that totally
she's
tracks.
so real about it.
That totally tracks, because that's literally like what she said to me. And I'm like,
but people, yeah, they took it the wrong way. But it's like, no, she's just being so funny about it.
Yeah,
she literally gets drinks with the other voicers, like with Meiko and Kaito and Saki Fujita. They literally go out to drinks. So there's no like ill will. It's not like she hates Luca or Miku. She's just being real.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, make her more popular. Like, you know, like always in the shadows of goddamn Miku, you know?
Yeah.
Because everything's always about Miku. I love Miku. I do love Miku to death, but like sometimes I want to see some of the other Vocaloids shine, you know, just a little bit, you know? Yeah. What other questions we got, Laura?
Oh yeah.
What would be the hardest Vocaloid to tune in your opinion?
Oh, Sonica. Varna.
That was a very quick answer.
Yeah. It felt like you almost prepared that one.
Yeah.
Well, so my thing is, I got started as a Vocaloid producer, and I was using trial versions of a lot of voices. But I did buy Sonica as one of my first Vocaloids, and then I also bought Miki. And the thing with both of them is Sonica was recorded over a Skype call, and Miki is off pitch. Miki doesn't. She is off pitch. She's programmed off pitch. So I picked the 2 hardest Vocaloids to use as my first ever ones.
That's crazy.
Oh.
So it might have been like, what is it? Like when you're like training with weights on your, like you do dance training with weights on your like feet or something, where you're like, you train weighing yourself down. I feel like that's kind of what I did with those 2. Because now when I tune anyone else, I'm like, oh, at least you're on pitch.
No,
I
that's
still
so
love
funny.
them. They're 2 of my faves, but I will admit, very hard to use. Sonica is definitely the worst. She sounds like a pigeon in the higher range. She just like, how people try and say like, oh, she coos over the melody. She does, but in the bad way.
In the back.
know?
That's actually hilarious. That's so sad though, because it's like I mean at the time you didn't know, you didn't know. You picked them up and you're like, yeah, and you're like, why is this so hard? And then you realize it's like you're just making it so much harder on yourself than it needed to be. But you know what? It trained you in a way that you could never be trained any other way.
Exactly.
It makes you tougher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I love them, but they are definitely the hardest to use. I'm trying to think if there's any others, but I don't think so. I think Sonica's definitely. No, Sonica. Yep.
I kind of wanted to steer the conversation over to Project Sekai since you have songs in the game,
Yeah.
and we were talking about it a little bit earlier. You also play.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you start playing?
Day 1 on
Day one.
JP.
I wish I was a JP player. I discovered it because I used to play Utapri. And then
Uta 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Rip Uta
I know.
played that, yeah.
So like I knew that it was coming out in English, but then I got like a little like one of the ads that you play to get like free crystals or whatever it was in Utapri. And I was like, oh wait, it's already out in English, and then I downloaded it right away. But like, oh my god, I love the game.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it is really fun. What are some of your favorite songs to play?
Oh, well, let's see. I guess I will say I'm not a JP player anymore. I've moved fully onto EN. The second they announced it, I was like, I'm English main. I want to read the stories, I don't mind being a year behind. I can just get to prepare for gotchas now.
Yeah, pretty much.
But my favorite songs were, I love Brand New Day. Playing that one, it's so fun, specifically on Expert. Master is a bit much for me right now, but Expert is so fun. And I do have a lot of fun with songs like Phony.
Oh yeah, that one's a good chart.
Let's see. Oh, there was one that I played today, but I forget the name of it. Oh, I also like One Self. That one's fun too. But my favorite song charts are the ones that they don't have too many hold notes. Not that I dislike them, but the ones that are difficult because of all the tapping.
Yeah.
Like they make you go tap 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 tap.
Yeah, I like the
tap.
tapping.
I love that. Yeah,
I don't
it's
like
so
I don't
fun.
like the hold notes because sometimes like I feel like if you just let your like the pressure go just off a little bit, then it's like gone.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, dude, I'm still holding. I'm just not holding as hard, but my finger's there.
Yeah.
The same with the flick notes. I'm like, I flicked
Oh,
it.
flick notes.
I hate the flick notes so much.
I always miss them every time. Even though I do flick, it's just like I don't know why it's so hard. I don't get it,
It's harder than it should be. I also think there. I mean, this is just a joke. I maybe I shouldn't. Don't say what I'm saying is not correlated to Colorful Palette or Sega. But I do think there's an EN debuff. Something about I always go to JP and I'm like, oh, I'm playing better. How am I doing?
Totally. Still, I will say it got slightly better after the update, but still, I can play the same song in the English server, then switch over to JP. So much better. I mean, I'm the queen.
Instant full combo. Yeah.
Well, maybe not for me. I'm the queen of losing her combo. That's like my thing.
Are you? I used to have a Twitter account that I called no miss or one miss because I had this thing where I would always just miss one note across any game. Love Live School Idol Festival, Starlight Stage, Cinderella Girls, any rhythm game, Bang Dream. I would have like a one good, one miss.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all perfects. That's my
Yeah.
curse.
Oh damn! All perfect. Yeah. Could it be me?
Me too. When I play Project Diva and I miss one just because Project Diva is so like meticulous about like when you hit it. Like you can't be even slightly off, or it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or it's like almost miss. You know, like
Yeah.
or safe. It's safe.
Safe. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Flashbacks.
Where it doesn't affect it doesn't like take down your bar, but like it ruins your combo.
Well, that's like in Project Sekai, it's like good, but good is not. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like you just lose your combo.
Damn,
Yeah.
it's just like my brain all my life. Tell me, not good enough. It's either
no.
not good enough or too easy. Like, doesn't count. Too easy, doesn't count.
Oh yeah. I was never good at Project Diva.
Oh,
That's the
no.
one game that I because I played School Auto Festival on my phone, but I really got into mobile like rhythm games with Starlight Stage, Cinderella Girls Starlight Stage. I tiered in that so hard that on the original JP server, I would get top 100 in a lot of events. I would, I was ridiculous. I remember the most ridiculous I was for one event, I would be awake for 18 to 20 hours farming nonstop, and then I would sleep for 4. This was also while I was writing songs a month. I was insane.
Oh my god!
I don't know what I was. I need to. You know that one TikTok audio or whatever that's like, what's that kid doing? The voices. That was me in like 2017. I don't know. I was just like going. I can't do that now, but it did teach me how to play those types of rhythm games where you physically tap on the screen.
Yeah.
But ones where you have to press a button to something on the screen, my brain has this lag, and I just can't do it.
Have you
I'm just not
ever
good at it.
have you ever been to like a round 1?
No.
No, you should.
Oh.
You should. Okay, because now that you are living somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
There probably is a round 1 somewhere. I would
Oh,
suggest
yeah.
going to a round 1 because it's a Japanese style like arcade.
Mhm.
So they have like
Oh.
They have the rhythm game.
yeah, they have the rhythm games.
Oh.
So like Groove Coaster, they have Project Diva arcade. They have like they have so many, like the one I don't remember what it's called, but the one with the circle and you have like
Well,
the
there's, like,
people.
Oh, I
There's
played that in anime
Waka
convention.
Waka
Yeah.
and then in My My as well. Both of them.
Ooh.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember one day I was visiting my dad and he needed to do a lot of work and he was just like, you want to go to the mall and just like I'll drop you off, and I was like, yeah, sure. So he dropped me off and I went to round 1. Very first time I've ever been to one. And I spent so much time at that
Oh.
goddamn Project Diva arcade machine. Like I spent my entire time there. I did not go anywhere else. I just played for hours because there was no one there because it was like the middle of the day, so like all the kids are in school, right? So I'm just like sitting there and I was
Mhm.
like like nobody wanted to play on the machine, so I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. I spent like $40 that day on that machine.
Wow. But that's the best time to do it without
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
waiting
Yeah.
behind you. Like, hey, I want to play.
Yeah, and they also have the claw, like the Japanese claw machines too, so you can win things like figures and like
Ooh.
plushies and all that stuff, like you see in Japan. So they
Yeah.
have that there, and it's like super cool. So I'd check out round 1 if
Yeah,
you want.
I gotta go. I gotta go sometime. I am because my only experience has been going to anime conventions, and they have some of the rhythm games, but they don't.
Yeah.
My only experience with like the claw machines is through online through something like Toreba.
Oh my god, I
yeah,
have
that was
Toreba.
me. That was me during lockdown.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Toreba doesn't give you free tickets anymore.
Oh
Really?
no.
They stopped? I used to get
Yeah.
so many free tickets because then you would go to like, oh my god. I looked up all the hacks. I'm like, you go through this website and then you could like win like extra tickets and then I remember too you could buy it through the Japanese website,
Mhm.
and with the conversion it was like so much cheaper. But then they
Oh, I
stopped doing that.
bet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "Oh no, you're in America. Use dollars," and it wasn't the same.
I loved Toreba. I got so much stuff. I won a Ghost Rule Miku from one of their
cool.
machines. Yeah, it was like really cool. I got a lot of like little Vocaloid stuff, like a little Rin keychain and like a little towel and all of this stuff. Like I scored so much from that game.
Well, at least you got stuff. I was just like, I was the one studying like the YouTube tutorials and TikTok. I was like, okay, if I do this, because I saw it in this one video, maybe I'll get this like little tiny Sailor Moon plushie. I never won anything.
You never won anything. Oh, I won stuff all the time.
I think like I would set things up for the next person, and then I would just like watch. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, they got it.
Oh no.
I'm so sad. Well, because like in Japan, if you actually go to them, right, and you like spend so much money on one machine, I hear that you can just go up to a worker and you could be like, hey, like I spent so much money on this machine, and sometimes they just give it to you because you spent so much money on it.
That would be me.
Or they'll like reposition it for you to let you win, essentially.
Oh yeah. When I did Toreba, I did it with a friend, so we would both kind of do it, and they would be the one who would be mostly spending. I would just mostly watch, but I remember we got to the point where it would do that little thing where it's like, a staffer is rearranging your thing so that you can get it the next turn.
Which is like, I don't know, I think that's really nice of them to do, because like here in the US you'd be like, yeah, you spent $100 on this machine, nah, you gotta keep making money, you gotta keep paying. You know, so
gotta milk every dollar out of you.
I also think they're not quite as rigged. They're just like, they're a lot more skill based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like a lot of the prizes in them are like even the figures are cheaper because they're prize figures, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, which aren't terrible quality by any means, because like I have a few prize figures, you know, and they're pretty good. They're not like cheaply made, you know. They're still pretty nice. Better than bootleg, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No bootleg here. We got any other questions?
Well, as a Project Sekai fan, I just want to know who your favorite unit is and your favorite character.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this one it's easy for me because I have to know to pull. I have two favorite characters. My favorite characters are Haruka and Kohane.
Okay.
I like both of them a lot. But overall, my favorite unit is More Jump. Because I really like Minori. I really like Airi, Shizuku. I like the whole unit a lot. But I also, second behind that is Vivid Bat Squad. But I'm a more
Vivid
Jump
Bat
stan.
Squad girly.
Yeah. They're both really good.
The thing I hate is, okay, I went into it because I love Kentito, the voice actor. So I was like, okay, he's gonna be in it. Great. My favorite character is his character, Toya.
Yeah.
But then I also happen to be like a shipper with loving like romance anime and stuff. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I see the sparks. So then now Toya and Nakito are my favorite characters. And now if I collect one, I have to collect the other one. So that's how Sega and Colorful Palette just get all my money.
Yeah.
I always have to buy them in pairs. Marketing works.
That's why I'm like I was very strong in that my two faves, they are never paired together. Well, they are in some events, but like Haruka and Kohane, they're my faves, but I don't ship them. I do love their interactions, but in like kind of like seeing your two faves interact, you're like, oh, But I do really like Haruka and Minori, so that's how they get me, because I'm like, oh, Minori and Haruka,
they're super cute, and I like whenever they are together in like a card artwork. Minori is just the biggest fangirl and doesn't hide it at all. It's so cute. Yeah.
It's so fun. Yeah, so but they do kind of get me with the Minori. And the An and Kohane too. I have to be so strong.
Yeah, I'm not the strongest. I do pay quite a bit. Because usually, I mean, okay, so I try to save every single time for like any Toya and Akito event. And every single time, and like my live streams, everybody knows this. Every single time I try to do a poll in a Vivid Bat Squad event, I get Leonid.
Oh no.
Without a fail. And it's always like Ichika or Honami. And I have so many of their 4-star cards without even like, never have I pulled during a Leonid event. But they're just there all the time. And you get excited because you're like, oh my god, Miku has a 4-star. Could it be? No.
Yeah, that's for me. My curse is Mafuyu, I tend to get a lot of Mafuyu
Oh.
card, which is sad because whenever I stream it, people are like, I
Oh,
wanted
people
that card.
yeah, people get really excited. Yep.
I recently because it was the Halloween event with Kohane and Minori on
Yeah.
EN, and I had the worst gacha experience of my life.
Oh, what happened?
I had to spark Kohane. I had to do 200 pulls, and in those 200 pulls, I got 3 4-stars, and one of them was a dupe, and the other one was Mafuyu.
Aww.
But I got Shiho, but I wanted Minori, so I didn't even get Minori, and I had to spark for Kohane, and I was statistically unlucky because I was getting so desperate. I was looking at the stats, you know, when you start to pull up the numbers, that's how you know you're down. Oh, down a bad rabbit hole.
I just wish there was like an actual like a better pity system, because it's like I whenever I use that one Toya card from like the wedding event, people are always like, "Oh, I want that card." I'm like, like if we don't talk about how much I spent to get that card, because literally I got to the point that you know how you can like exchange your gacha voucher stickers and use the event points. I did that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's how you know you spent too much
Wow.
trying to get that card, and that was the only time I did that. I'm like, damn you, Kentito. Pretty much. And that's why I don't play any of his other games. Like, no, I can't do Honkai Star Rail because I know myself.
Well, you don't gotta worry about Side M anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm in mourning. Sorry, that was my boy idol game, and it's gone.
Rip. I hate that. I hate it. I miss you, Tapri. I miss. It's okay. I haven't played in a while, but I got Twisted Wonderland.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when that first got announced, it was like, I don't know when I got it, for like 2019, I think it got first announced. But like everyone thought it was gonna be an Ultimate game at first. Yeah. Which like low-key kind of wish it was, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm okay with it not being, because it's still fun. It's so fun. I know a lot of people think it's just like, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's a game where they just make the villains hot anime men, and I'm like, no, they are not the villains though in Disney. Like they are separate characters. They're not like Jafar and Ursula, and they're their own characters, and we're supposed to be getting an anime sometime.
Whoa.
I think next year. Yeah.
Next year? Okay.
But the bad thing is it only got picked up in Disney Plus in Japan. So nobody has picked it up, or I don't know what type of like Disney's making it hard, I guess, to pick up that license. So they haven't announced like a US release date or anything like that.
Just give me Rocky. Give him to me. And Leona. Ah! I love them so much. Oh, I miss that. I do have a question. Okay. So like, okay. First of all, I love your model. I love your model. It's very nice. I like the what's going on the your top. I just think that looks very nice. You've definitely got a lot going on there, and I very much appreciate it. Yeah. You know. But like, how did you come up with your design?
So what's kind of funny is I've gone through, I guess, 3 major persona designs. I had one before I started vtubing that was kind of a, you know, it had it was a fun design. It was kind of like a ringleader design. It still had the horns and stuff. But when I wanted to start vtubing, I wanted to be a character that looked nothing like any like real human perception of me could ever, because and this is kind of, I don't mean it to be like shady or anything, but I am I did not want to be one of those like Vocaloid producers that has their persona. There's just has short, wavy brown hair, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm all of them if I have that, because we all got short, wavy brown hair for some reason. So I was like, okay, well, because in real life I have long hair. I grew my hair out.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, that'd be fun to kind of incorporate, but let's make it a bit more wacky. So I got the ears and I got the horns, and then my first iteration was a kind of pirate themed, and also like I would say more so pirate than anything else, but it was very bright and colorful. And for this one, I worked with Rice Deity, to kind of make it more regal and a bit more mature.
Yeah.
A bit
I
more
get that.
adult, you know, like because I realized that my previous model was very it was cute, but I wanted to have the option of being kind of like cool, you know. I
Yeah.
wanted to have the option of still doing what I'm doing, but also being like, hey, I'm an adult man.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know?
totally get that. My old model, like one of my my very first one, she looked like she was 16. And
Oh yeah.
I didn't want her to look like that, but because of who I commissioned, and the limitations of Vroid at the time, you couldn't really make a mature looking model with Vroid at the
Yeah.
time. So no, I totally get that. Like I love your little hat, which is like is that supposed to be like a rest note?
Yeah, it's a half rest, and then my ear is a natural sign. My earring.
Yeah.
Yeah, music stuff.
The music,
I'm
all
the
the
music
music
guy.
stuff. Well, because like I love like the ringleader, right? Like I love that. Like
Yeah.
you know what it screams to me, in a very
Mhm,
good way. Like
mhm.
it gives a lot of It reminds me of Tiger Eye from Sailor Moon.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, like from the Amazon trio. It's giving like those vibes.
Ooh.
He's got like really long hair. I mean he's also like a ringleader too. I guess like it's the hair and the ringleader thing, you know. But like you don't look
Yeah.
just like him. But it's just like it gives those vibes. I think that's why I really like it, is because like I love Sailor Moon, and so like
So true.
and I love the Amazon trio. They're great, especially in the OG. They're like super awesome. Um, but yeah, no,
Uh,
like I really like it. Also like your two different colored eyes, super nice.
yeah. It's very subtle. Some people miss it, but I do like it.
I remember like seeing your live stream and I was like looking really close and I was like, are his eye colors two different colors? I'm like, yeah, those are two different colors. One's blue and like one's more blue and one's more green.
Yeah. Also,
But
sorry, I had to look up Tiger's Eye, and I see it. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
like it.
No, you're good. Yeah. No, he's great. He's wonderful. There's like a whole there's a whole episode of Sailor Moon where like one of the scouts, Venus, she ends up like dating him and Hawkeye at the same time.
Yeah.
She's like she's two-timing and everyone's like,
Mhm.
Mia, what are you doing? And she's like, I have to keep my options open. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
Mia,
Yeah.
what's going on? It's so funny. But yeah, no, I love your design. I think it's really fun. I also I don't think I've seen like another design like it in the VTubing space, you know?
Oh, thank you. You know, I feel like I could say the same about yours too. I really loved your design. Like when I first saw saw your stuff around the TikTok and the Twitter, you
Mhm.
know, I still love your space Gyaru concept. I was like, that's such a fun, because I love Gyaru. It's
Yeah.
such a fun style. It's so cool. And then just like the way that like you can do over the top style stuff on a VTuber model, it looks like you did it in such a fun way. So it's definitely just as unique.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
It was difficult getting like the two to kind of mix because Gyaru
Mhm.
as a fashion doesn't really fit with the color scheme of like space.
Oh
Like
yeah,
because
yeah.
Gyaru tends to be like pinks and blacks and whites and
Hmm.
like and brown for like cheetah print or leopard print or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And so trying to take something that already pre-exists and make it look Gyaru in the space theme was like is always like very difficult. It's like a very fine line. Because like when I first got into VTubing, I was Kogal, even though at the time like I didn't classify myself as a Gyaru VTuber, but like people were like, "Oh, you're Gyaru because of Kogal," and I was like, "You're right," because I took a lot of inspiration from After School Luca and Ribbon Girl Miku.
Oh, Ribbon Girl Miku, that's one of my favorites.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite modules.
Such a good module.
I bought the cosplay for it. I just have yet to wear it because like it was during COVID and I just like I bought it, you know. Like that's just hands down like one of my favorite modules to like ever come out.
Same.
Those
honestly.
it's so cute. Well, actually, what other modules do you like?
Let's see. Ribbon Girl is actually the one that I always say when people ask. I'm like Ribbon Girl.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I also really like what is it? I guess it's all kind of the school outfits because the Luca one's very cute where she has, you know, the and then there's that one Kaito one where he has a little sweater vest and his hair is a slightly different color blue. It's so cute. I love that trio, I suppose. The kind of like school trio.
Yeah. Oh, my phone died. That's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You know, YouTube people will just kind of have to deal with me being still for a little bit, I guess, for the rest of it. But you know, it's fine. No,
VTuber moment.
Yeah, VTuber moment. But yeah, like I like those a lot. One of my favorite ones is actually Kaito, and it's his guilty outfit. The one in the all black.
Yeah,
with
I have the figure for that.
I have the figure too.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, I love that one. It's so simple, but like so effective. I'm like, oh, Kaito, you looking really good right now. Like, like damn,
that
like
trio. Luca has one too. I think I have a figure of the Luca one, right, where she's in that like black dress and has that red. Yeah, the pink. It's so good. They all look so good. And then Miku's, I feel like she had the kind of like off the shoulder sleeves, right? Am I remembering?
So
right?
Miku had, I'm pretty sure Miku had the so it's a black dress, has purple on it, but instead of it being off the sleeves, it's like these like little like armband things, like puffy armband things, and very similar to like Tokyo Mew Mew. They had, because they had like the little armband thingies. Like those outfits I love. Like I love seeing like the trio one, like the trio, or like, you know, or matching outfits for them, like for specific songs and stuff like that. Like I love that. Like in Project Diva, like some Project Diva X also had some really great looks as well too. Which unfortunately that game did not do very well. They tried to do new things, but
I love the medleys though. I'll constantly think about, was it the beauty medley, or what was it? The one that had Miku, Meiko, and Luca, and it had like
it's the beauty medley.
Yeah, I remember the default outfits for that one were so cool because they had the long dresses, the long flowy dresses, and the big hats. And I was like, oh.
My favorite one was Amazing Dulce.
Oh yeah.
With like the fruit, like the fruit witch and like Hansel and Gretel, but like with apple and orange. And I was like, I just loved those outfits. I'm like, I would love to cosplay Meiko. And that song's great because Meiko's does her like a little shimmy with the cowbells. Like I'm like, of course, Meiko, of course. That's a great song, and that's some great outfits that came out of that one. Oh my god.
Absolutely.
I love that one. We got any other questions? Maybe a last question before we wrap up?
Well, my phone died too, so I have no way to pull them up.
Oh no.
Project Sekai. We talked about Vocaloid. We talked about vtubing.
Do
you want to tell us what your favorite anime or
manga
series
talk about
are?
Some anime a little bit. Yeah.
Since we're Shojo's Bizarre Adventure.
So my favorite type of anime is I'm a huge fan of slice of life.
Okay.
So let's see. My biggest faves are I love Laid Back Camp. I love that one a lot. I also really love Flying Witch. That one's really fun. And I guess the one that I remember the most, though, the one that it's the one that I can't go back and rewatch as much because I rewatched the other two because they're just fun, happy times. But A Place Farther Than the Universe is also one of my faves. But that one also makes me sad.
Yeah.
I should rewatch it though. I should, but I've been trying to build up the courage to go back to it.
That's how I feel with some anime, because like there's some anime like I'm afraid to rewatch, like Banana Fish.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
reliving the trauma that I felt from that one. But it's just really sad, you know? Like, I definitely heard of some of those animes. I know which one? Farther Than the Universe one. Is that the one where they go to Antarctica?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah, my partner loves all of those animes.
Yeah.
Okay. What were some of your favorite animes growing up though?
Oh. I think the ones I mentioned earlier are probably the pipeline of Chobits to Haruhi to Lucky Star to Vocaloid.
Yeah.
After that, I was so deep in Vocaloid, I didn't watch anime for 5 to 7 years.
No, understandable, honestly.
Yeah.
I was so into Vocaloid. So definitely the Haruhi and Lucky Star were the big ones though. Those are the ones that I would go back and watch. I remember watching Endless 8 happen in real time, and I was like, I felt weird things about it. But there was one episode, because Endless 8 of Haruhi, are spoilers okay? Because it's not major spoilers, but you can kind of tell by the title.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead. I mean, these are old series, so.
Yeah. This was from but it was 8 episodes of the second season of Haruhi that were the same plot line.
Yeah.
So they were done over. And the biggest thing I remember being a budding little gay boy was one episode Kyon didn't have a shirt on. And I was like, oh, Kyon, why do you look like that?
You're like, whoa, man. Yeah. Oh. Like I'd awakened something in me.
Exactly.
Well, you know what's crazy is that I've seen this, like people talk about like underrated anime before, and like there was like one post talking about what's your favorite underrated anime, and I saw so many comments that were like said Lucky Star and like Haruhi Suzumiya, and I'm like, okay, here's the thing, just because they're not talked about right now doesn't mean they're underrated, because I guarantee you, we've talked about those animes for so long, there's nothing to talk about. They're just like, oh, you like that anime? Oh, cool. I like that anime too, you know? But like to say that Lucky Star is underrated, or like nobody knows about Lucky Star. And I'm like, what do you mean no one knows about Lucky Star? That was like everywhere for a long time. So many memes arise from that anime.
Yeah. What is it? They're like, what's it? It's like Throwback Thursday or whatever. Wait, what's
it was Throwback Thursday. And then Flashback Fridays too were a thing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think my thing that made me realize that those animes fell out of fashion really fast, or at least the generational gap, is I was talking to a friend in real life, right? We were talking about older animes, and I guess it's embarrassing to say out of context, but you know, I started to jokingly do like the Hare Hare Yukai, you know, the little thing where you spin your head and you do the little hand thing, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, You don't know the Hare Hare Yukai? You didn't learn that in middle school? If I did that at an anime convention in 2012, every single person would be doing that within a mile vicinity.
Yep.
And they just stared at me like, you are insane.
See, like that's the thing, is like I know that dance too. Like I learned that dance. I learned that dance. I love it. I learned Love and Joy. I learned
Love and Joy.
I learned so many anime. Like I know the Luca Luca Night Fever. Like I learned so many dances for reasons, but like that I don't want to get into because I don't want to expose my past life. But I know all those dances, but it is funny because you'll like talk about something and you'll be like talking about like, well, like an older anime, but to that, like to some people it's like, that's ancient anime, you know? And to them, like older anime is like 2015. And I'm like, what do you mean older anime is 2015? Don't say that. That's not even 10 years ago. What do you mean?
I'm still like, to some people, Sword Art Online is still a classic anime, and I'm like, that just came out.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So I remember when that came out. I remember watching that, like that like you know, first season or first arc being fine, and then watching the train wreck afterwards and being like, what is this? You know, like I remember those days. I mean, Attack on Titan just wrapped up. You
Oh
know?
man. Yeah, that just happened.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's wild.
watched the last episode, and oh
I
boy,
got the recap from Stella.
oh my god,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
yeah, it was
I don't watch it, but I don't mind getting spoiled. I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was like, that anime was wild, but like again, it's been like 10 years since the first episode came out, you know, and
hmm
like it's so wild because some anime I'll think like I guess to me like older anime is anime that was still animated not digitally, like on like
Yeah.
digital. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Mhm.
So like, you know, like pretty much anything 2006 and then back. Because I
Yeah.
think 2006 to 2007 was about the time we started transferring to digital animation. Cuz like you can definitely tell between the differences between the two, cuz like you'll have a show that's like from 2007 look like really crisp and clean, and then 2006 and it will be like the quality difference, like not quality
Oh,
of
yeah.
anime, but like the quality of the picture is like vastly
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. I feel that I was because I'm trying to get more so into Macross because I really love Macross. But I um yeah, yeah. But I never watched Macross Frontier. I
Yeah.
watched because it was free on like Amazon way back in the day. I watched all the first series from the 80s with Min Mei. She's my favorite still, but that's like old. That's like old. But
Mhm.
it looks great, surprisingly. Like I go back to it still, and I'm like, you guys animated that really well. What the heck? But I was watching Macross Frontier for the first time like a month ago, and I was like, oh, this is crisp, you know.
Like crisp
Even though it's from
anime.
2007, I was like, wow, this definitely feels, I mean, it feels old stylistically, you know, it's definitely
Yeah.
not the modern anime style, but the visuals, I was like, oh, this is definitely a jump from Super Dimensional Fortress Macross from 1982.
Yep.
This 2007 was many years after that.
Yep. A lot of my favorite animes come from like the 2000s, and so or like in the
Mhm.
90s. You know, like anything. It's I sound boomer, but it's true. Like a lot of my like favorites are like older stuff for whatever reason. Even though I do
Mhm.
like a lot of newer stuff. Like I love Banana Fish, but to be fair, that manga came out in the 80s, so you know it is older. So yeah, but yeah, I think we should probably wrap up. You know.
Oh yeah, we could probably talk forever.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I was
Yeah.
about to say. I was
Between
about
the
to
three of
say.
us. Yeah.
I was like, we're gonna hit the 2-hour mark if we don't stop.
Oh.
Oh no.
So, do you want to like plug yourself in? You know?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I what am I doing?
That's what I ask myself every day.
So I do Vocaloid music stuff on at Circus on most places, but mostly on YouTube. You can see my new song uploads there, and also on Twitter. And I do VTuber stuff at Circus. And I stream on Twitch at Circus_P like twice a week. I like to stream video games most of the time, but lately I've been doing either, well, I guess Colorful Stage counts as a video game, but I also have been tuning in Vocaloid. So if you're interested in seeing how Vocaloid works, I recently went back to Vocaloid 2 from 2007, you know, which is now considered retro.
Oh my god.
And yeah, I tuned something with Vocaloid 2 on stream. I might go to Vocaloid 3 next, which was 2011, which I think we can safely not count as retro yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Well, it's 12 years old at this point, so maybe it is retro. I don't what's retro online. I know retro in like music terms, that's like, well, classic is over 20 years, but the internet's at like double speed.
Oh my god.
Maybe it is retro now.
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think
No,
about it.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and being a guest on the podcast. I very
Thank
much
you.
appreciate it. You know.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay.
I hope that anyone watching can see that we just had a lot of fun chatting.
Yeah, no,
It was fun to talk with you guys.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. It was really fun actually getting to talk to you, and just hanging out here on the podcast. For everyone listening, go follow Circus, and then also go follow us if you're not following at this point. Like we're on episode 7, I think 17. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, this is 17.
Yeah.
And if you're listening and not subscribed,
subscribe. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Hit that
Subscribe.
button. Subscribe. We're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah. So subscribe. Oh, I guess Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well too. So
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So follow us. Yeah. All right. Adios, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.